Hello and welcome to Coding with Jess, where you code along with me while I build a thing. Welcome to a Wednesday session on Coding with Jess. Today we're going to be working on a tool that I started building last week, kind of a small little tool or utility that's helping me with my personal workflow. And been working on it for a bit, and today we're going to be porting a proof of concept that I have of that tool over to Svelte and SvelteKit, which if you've been following along with me in and Coding with Jess adventures for a little while, you'll know that I really enjoy using SvelteKit for things and have found it to be super useful. So without further ado, oh yeah, a couple things about Coding with Jess. If you haven't joined before, we're going to code for about 2 hours straight. So that's going to be divided up into 4 Pomodoros. That's a 25-minute work block with a 5-minute break. So we'll do 4 Pomodoros back to back to back to back with 5-minute breaks in between, where I'm going to go outside and walk around and enjoy the fall weather and get away from my keyboard, come back and work again. Yeah, so this is welcome and glad you're hanging out. So here we go. Let's see. Let me open my... All right, desktop. All right, so let me show you the tool that we built so far and talk about what are the next steps for it. So let me see, close that one, close this one, and to make sure that I have the most recent stuff. Let's see, what's the diff here? Okay, yeah, check out that. All right, get pull, cool. Was working on my other machine a little earlier today. So I have the most recent stuff. So now this is running, I've got 2 tabs open here on the left, by the way. One is running a simple application called Serve, which is actually like a thing you can install via brew install serve. And that allows you to basically run serve in any directory and host the contents of that as a little web server. So right now you go to localhost 8080, and you'll see on the left over here we have the current UI. And what you can do with the thing that we built is you can hit open file, open a to-do list file. Let me see. Let me open one that is, I know what we'll do documents, code. Let's do this in columns. Sorry. And we'll open one that is in the Kanban or to-do.kanban folder. Got a to-do markdown file in there. Boom. All right, there we go. And right now you can see that both of the to-dos showed up on here. One is done and one's not done. I thought there was more to-dos than this in there. Let me see. Oh, that's my Obsidian. Let's open VS Code. Cool. Here's VS Code. Open. Whoops. Open to-do.md. Aha, cool. So it still has my old, all right, there we go. Great. Okay, so now when I noticed that when I saved that 2 to-dos popped up on the left over here. Oh, nice. Welcome, Paul. Paul from WS is for joining. Oh, I should also mention that I do watch the YouTube chat during the thing, and I may look away for a minute and that kind of stuff, but I will, if you have questions or that kind of stuff, feel free to drop them into the chat. Sweet. So right now on the right, you'll see I have this to-do list. I'll make this a little bigger for you if you're joining on a mobile device. And as you edit things on the right, like if I mark this to-do as done and hit save, it immediately updates the thing on the right. And then you can also edit on the left in the Kanban interface. And the first time you do it, it does ask for permission to edit things on your file system. But if you leave the file open, or the tab open, you maintain those permissions. So if I hit save changes now, you'll see that X immediately went away. So you have this pretty nice little two-way sync happening where I can move things around and update them. And one of my favorite things about this is that you can actually move things around in the file. So like, let's say that I wanted to reorganize things. Like I realized, oh, this thing is actually a whole project unto itself, and some more stuff. Another thing, and I'm going to hit Command S right now, save, and those things immediately get added to the Kanban board, but it doesn't change the formatting of my file. And so I'm able to like come in and this fun project is all about fun. I'm trying to have the most fun. And I can add that in, and I just hit Command S, and the Kanban board completely ignores all this extra information that I'm adding into the Markdown file. So it really allows me to like use the richness of Markdown as a format to describe a bunch of to-dos while using a Kanban system to visualize the to-dos, which is pretty fun. And I've got some ideas around how to handle things like labels and that kind of stuff to make this Kanban a little bit more interesting. One of my more interesting ideas is actually the ability to mark a to-do as in progress by putting an I on it. If I do that currently and hit save, it disappears from the board because that doesn't parse as valid Markdown. So right now I'm using MD, what am I using? Let's see, script.js up at the top. Right, the unified remark parser. The unified remark parser actually would allow me to write extensions. So we could write a little extension that would treat this this I as a type of to-do. And then once it's parsed as a to-do, we can add that feature, and we could even have like a to-do, an in progress, and a done board all in the same place, which would be kind of cool, I think. But anyway, that's a future feature. Right now, this alone is giving me some value. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to move from this one proof of concept, very long, well, 150 lines of JavaScript, to a custom, or sorry, to a Svelte application. Poll asks, are you using a parsing library or a custom one? We are using a parsing library. You can see it referenced at the top here. The unified GitHub. The unified ecosystem, I don't know, is a whole set of different transformers and parsers for Markdown and for a lot of different things. So we're using the Remark Markdown parser that is part of Unified. It allows you to transform Markdown. It also supports plugins, which we're using the Remark GFM plugin, which supports GitHub flavored Markdown. And then we're using the Stringify plugin to actually convert the abstract syntax tree of the Markdown into a string that we can then parse and edit and display and that kind of stuff. So really nice little tool. What I was referring to just now in terms of extending the parser is that we could write a custom plugin for Remark that would treat that the little brackets with an I in the middle as a valid to do. So we could extend it again. So it would be something along the lines of like .use remark in progress to-dos or something like that is what we could like call that plugin. So future feature, I've used I've used Unified and Remark on several projects now for parsing Remark, and it does a really, really good job. Actually, notably, we're not using Stringify. We're using Remark parse right now. But this was all written as a proof of concept. So right now, this is like straight up JavaScript. Yeah, end user programming via Markdown incoming, Poll mentions in the chat. Totally. So I've actually been thinking about like how could you, modify this program from within the Markdown. We're treating Markdown as sort of a language that allows you to express more than just text already. And so how far we can push that idea is part of why I'm exploring this, which is pretty interesting. So right now, this has been all done as a proof of concept. I'm using as few libraries as possible and just using vanilla JavaScript, straight up HTML and straight up CSS. So if you go to the GitHub repo right now, you'll notice, in fact, you'll see the Replit files. This was originally a Replit thing that I started playing around with. I moved it off of Replit and then started playing. And it's really just this very simple HTML file, like 30 lines of HTML, about 50 lines of CSS, and about 150 lines of JavaScript, which is pretty cool that you get all of this like two-way saving and drag and drop and all this kind of stuff for, maybe 200 and something lines of code if you count all the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which is pretty great. One thing I forgot to do is I haven't started our first Pomodoro. How did I miss that? I think it was because I was so excited to see Paul on hanging out. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our first Pomodoro, and 25 minutes from now, we'll take a 5-minute break. All right. So again, our goal today is to port this to SvelteKit. Why port it to SvelteKit is a reasonable question. A couple reasons why. One, this was always intended, like writing plain vanilla JavaScript is a pain in the butt when you get further along to like selecting things. Like I'm doing a lot of things you should not do. Like I'm using the IDs. This is like a hack, total hack, but I'm using the IDs in here to access these elements. There's a lot of good reasons why you do not want to do that, but it makes for really, really quick proofs of concept. And then as we add more features onto this, like adding components, and as my little drag and drop implementation is actually the majority of this code is drag and drop implementation. It turns out that it is woefully incomplete and pretty awful to use. In fact, you can only the drag zones are like really hard to use and that kind of stuff. I want to use someone else's more complete drag and drop library, which means I need to either switch to some framework that has that implemented. Svelte has one out there that that works pretty well. So one, I want to use somebody else's drag and drop. Two, I want to, as I'm building this application for maintenance, I want to actually build it in such a way that it's, right now it's very simple to all be in a single file, but it's very buggy, and to make changes to the logic is actually pretty complicated. And there's a couple of upcoming changes that are going to require some refactoring in order to be able to make. And so as I want to move over to Svelte in order to have sort of a better factored application that's easier to modify and test and that kind of stuff. So that's the reasons why. Let's go over to iTerm and get started with our little port here. Go ahead and check out a branch. I'm going to continue working on the same repo so that we at least maintain continuity, but basically almost all of these files are going to end up going away. I'm also going to open in my browser the existing copy of the code, and I'll probably end up copying things out of the browser. And the reason for this is one of the first things I'm going to need to do is basically delete the things. Let me see. Yeah, let me check out everything here. I'll basically need to delete all the files that are currently here and then push a new Svelte app on top of these files. But I'm going to still want to access some of the JavaScript that's in there because some of it was very helpful, and I'll pull some of that in. But I need to have two branches open at the same time, so to speak, which is not easy to do locally. That's one thing it would be nice if you could do with Git, actually, now that I think about it. But I'm not going to build that utility because we're building this other utility. So I'm just going to keep this one open in GitHub, which gives me like the main branch, and then I'm going to go ahead and start building a SvelteKit application. So let's go over to svelte.dev and remind myself how to do this. Looks like this looks like the most recent way to do it. Looks like they're doing npm create using Vite and a template of Svelte. So we'll do that. Let's go back here. I'm gonna, whoop, that was not what I meant to do. Let me see. I didn't realize I had copied the new line as well. Let's copy to the end of the line here. That should not, okay, good. I think I can specify here to do .kanban, and it will try to write it to that file, I think. Yep. Yes. Cool. Okay, great. Already done. Wow, that was fast. To do .kanban, so we'll jump into this directory now and see what's in here. Looks like it did remove the other files, which is fine. Let me go ahead and do a commit right now of initial SvelteKit commit. I'll do an npm install and an npm run dev here in just a second. Make sure that's still the way to do it. Yep, it looks like it is. npm run dev. All right, serve, I should go ahead and kill that. We're not going to be using that anymore. And all right, npm run dev says it's running. Let's go to 5173. Sweet, we've got our little Svelte application running. Now if I go over to VS Code and bring up the sidebar, we'll see that yes, I have a whole bunch of stuff in here. including a simple Svelte application. Okay, so now to start ripping out the things we don't need and start bringing the stuff in from GitHub that has the main branch to make this into our old application. So I can close that down, close remark, close that, and there's our application running, so we can watch it refresh. Actually, let's bring Visual Studio Code over to the right here, close the thing. Probably a good place to start would be deleting those two things from the script block. Import stuffs we need so that it won't collapse that script block for me. I'm going to go ahead and delete these logos and such. Actually, we'll just delete everything inside of main, and we'll delete the styles for right now. Let me see, is there an app CSS? Yeah, there is. All right, cool. I'm going to go ahead and delete everything in app CSS, and we will pull in the things from app CSS for now. Raw, not much in here, but I'm going to go ahead and drop it in. And then over here in main, we will pull in the HTML. Let's see. All right, I think there's a layout file in Svelte that contains the high level, no, app, and then inside app. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and delete the Svelte SVG. We won't need that. Move that out. We also won't need this counter. Move that out. Okay, cool. We don't have any routes right now. Everything's happening inside app.svelte, which should be fine for this application. We don't actually really have a need for routes here. So let's go ahead and do that. Alrighty, so I mean, really it's just pasting in. I'm trying to remember where the head and stuff comes from. Is that from here, index.html? Yes, this is it. Okay, good. So we've got this div ID is where the app gets inserted. This stuff has changed recently in like the move to like the Svelte Kit 1.0. So I was having trouble remembering where it lives. We definitely don't want that icon, so I'll take that out. The title of this, by the way, I still need a good name for this. I was thinking Kanban.md, but I was having trouble registering that domain for some reason. It looks like the script comes in from source main.js, just like that. Something looks weird here. Oh, right. Okay, so this is the case where this is like server-side rendered. Okay, I'll have to reacquaint myself with this. Like I said, like the format of these things have changed. I've got a couple of Svelte apps that I've been working on that I'll probably pull some code from that'll help me streamline this. But for now, we can go ahead and grab our HTML that is inside the body, drop it in here. Surprised that didn't auto format. Oh, prettier's off. Okay. How about be on prettier? Oh, do I need to like bring in a prettier config? Yeah, I'll need to bring that in from another Svelte project that I've got. And let's go ahead and open that. Let's see. So cd web native template app, or app template, that's right, Watt. Git pull, open that up over here. There's a lot going on in the web native template app we won't need, but some of the things that would be nice to have would be a, hey, where's my other, oh, we're in preview now. There we go. All right, now I've got this web native app template open on the left over here and our new application on the right. And so I'm going to bring over prettier.rc and also bring over, I think I need to specify it in the package JSON, right? Yep. Let me go grab those two plugins. So package JSON, we're going to add to dev dependencies. Whoops. Ah, yes, I used the wrong kind of copy. Use the, there we go. Okay, we'll grab Prettier and Prettier plugin Svelte. Move those up above Svelte and Vite. Eventually I should reorder these. PQRS, yeah, that's right. And then the ats go up above. We've got, interesting that Svelte kit is not here. Is it no longer needed because it's integrated in? Let's go to svelte.dev again. Or did I do the wrong thing? Did I not actually build a Svelte kit app? That would have been that would have been a fail. Let's see. Svelte kit. Oy vey. I did not build a Svelte kit app. The pages look so similar. I mean, come on, can you blame me here? Look at this. Svelte.dev, Svelte kit. I mean, come on. Come on, guys. Okay. Fine. So backing up a step, we're going to go over here to everything that's in here. I'm going to do a, I don't want to delete all this stuff because I don't want to delete the, I wonder if it'll ask me the way the other one did. So we're going to do an npm create vite. No, this is the wrong one. Npm create svelte at latest. And we're going to put it in the to-do.kanban directory. Yep. Wow, tab completion is taking a long time. Huh, weird. Okay, and then there's nothing else to add there. So let's just hit that and see what happens. Yes, I want to install create svelte. Directory not empty. Continue. Yes, but I'd like for you to delete everything in there. And we're going to do a skeleton project. Yes, using JavaScript. Yes, using ESLint. Yes, using Prettier. Not using Playwright. All right, let me go cd into that directory. You know what? I'm going to delete everything in here. And wait, rm-rf here. What? What am I doing wrong here? Oh, star. It's Billy. Yes. All right, let me look in here now. Okay, it didn't remove my dot files, which is good. We're going to remove .eslint star, remove .npmrc star. Oops. Nope. Remove Prettier star and remove VS Code. Oh, it's a directory. I didn't know that. Duh, because it has VS Code settings. Okay, so now we're at a clean directory with only our git and git ignore in here. I'm going to go back up a directory and this time do npm create one more time. Yes, continue. Yes, a skeleton project. Yes, using JavaScript for right now. Guys, I'm just not good enough at TypeScript to want to take that hit. All right, and now over to here, npm install. npm run dev. Oh, npm install failed. Let's see. Oh, it's because I'm not in the folder. To do Kanban. Okay, npm install. There we go. All right, we're just slightly set back here. Still annoyed that, like, again, like I started using SvelteKit only 6 months ago, 4 months ago, not that long ago. And it still annoys the tar out of me that Svelte and SvelteKit are two different things. Like, I don't know why they're two different things, and I don't care. I want to use like everything in SvelteKit. So the fact that Svelte exists apart from SvelteKit, I'm like, hey, what? Why? Anyway, maybe they'll help resolve that at some point in the future. I'm sure there's a good reason for why they are different things, but I don't care. All right, npm run dev, localhost, hit that. Yay, welcome to SvelteKit. Okay. Okay, so now I've got the first tab in this terminal is running SvelteKit, npm run dev. The second tab is just in that directory. now we need to start bringing things over. Visual Studio Code is over here on the right, and we were just saying it would be really nice to have some of the things, like, looks like we already have, okay, this is what I was thinking. We already have Prettier and a lot of other stuff. I was just, okay, and there's a routes directory. All right, this looks a lot more familiar now. I should have been tipped off to the fact that like this was Svelte and not Svelte Kit when I jumped into the source directory a few minutes ago, and there was not the things that I expected. But there has been a fairly major refactoring in Svelte, so could be that that was, you know, not entirely unexpected. Anyway, here we are. So now we can start. I'm going to go ahead and close the WebNative app template because I don't think I'm going to need as much from that as I thought I was going to need, because Svelte Kit comes with a lot of things in the kit for you. So let's go through and start at the top and work our way down. So app HTML, that looks so much more familiar. Wonderful. App HTML has our HTML. So we're going to go over to index HTML, grab the things in it, and then those are going to go in. Actually, we're going to want, do we want any of this stuff? Looks like the Svelte Kit head is where we'll get the title. We need a fave icon eventually, but right now it's going to be the Svelte Kit fave icon. I'm okay with that for now. We'll replace it. And then Svelte Kit body is where where page.svelte will get inserted, which is like the top level page. So now I'm going to delete the stuff from page Svelte and drop in our list of things here. I'm going to take out that script.js that was at the bottom there because we don't need that. And make this a little bigger for y'all. Bring up the bar on the left so you can kind of see what's going on. If I hit save now, that was a nice little prettier reformat for me. Slid everything over. Okay, cool. So we're in a good place. I'm going to go ahead and remove this thing right here. This was file contents that I had in here for testing. We're not going to need that right now, so I'm going to bring that out. It's a vestigial piece of code. Oh, you know what? Before we do any more changes, let's go over to our Git history, git add dot again. And now we're going to say initial Svelte Kit application. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Svelte port now has, I'm going to do a git push origin, Svelte port. We have that little bloop on there in the git log of this initial Svelte Kit commit. It's actually a initial Svelte commit, so whatever. But we're now in the right place. I'll probably squash this commit before I merge it back into master, so it's gonna be okay. We'll clean things up in post, as they say. Okay, so we're now, if I come over to our application, we have a to-do and a done and a little open file thing at the top, and awesome. So we're going to start basically porting all that functionality over. I'm trying to remember how Svelte, oh right, the way that we've done Svelte, CSS. And how are we doing CSS here? Well, we're going to do it with Tailwind, which is freaking awesome. So let's go set that up real quick. Svelte Kit, Tailwind, and we're going to use Daisy UI. Daisy UIs. Do I want to use Daisy? I'm not going to need any of the components from Daisy. So no, we're just going to use Tailwind. We can always install we already did the CD init. Sorry, we can always install Daisy, not Tailwind, Daisy later. We don't need it right now. So let me go ahead and npm install Tailwind and the things that we need around that. There's a nice little Tailwind init thing that happens here. All right, and then in our Svelte config, we're going to change this over to say import process. And whoa, this is significantly different, but I'm hoping this has been updated to the most recent Svelte Kit stuff. We're going to just bet that it has and go with it. There's that, and then configure your template paths of like where to look for things to format. That'll be in Tailwind config. And we'll grab this line, substitute it over that line. Whoops. Okay, there we go. Having trouble with Command C and Command V. All right, now we need to add a source app.css file. We're on step 5 over there on the left if you're following along. And I realize I'm going rather quickly here. I've done a lot. I've done this on, I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 projects at this point. So it's becoming kind of second nature. I don't really need to read everything. And then sorts routes layout.svelte gives you a way to import it. Right now we don't have a layout file. We just have page.svelte. We could add a layout file, and that would be by default wrapped around all of the other things. So I think we're going to do that because we always want this CSS imported. So I'm going to grab that. This is one of the things that's recently changed. All right, now we're going to do an npm install and run dev. Looks like the server already died from all of my fidgeting with settings and stuff. All right, there we go. It's now running. Warning, no utility classes were detected in your source files. Yep, we don't have any utility classes yet. Whoops, let's bring that over. 5173, sweet. Okay, great. So we have no styles at all. So it basically took our, we're working with Tailwind, and Tailwind, if you don't, Tailwind doesn't come with any styles by default. So that's why Daisy UI is often brought in to kind of like provide a vanilla set of styles. And so what we're looking at right now is the page with basically a reset, a style reset of all the things. So we come into the inspect, you'll see that there is an H1 here inside this div and all the things. There's a button, all that kind of stuff, but all the styles have been removed such that the H1 looks exactly the same as the file. Okay, so we're now have Tailwind installed so that we can go ahead and theme things up a little bit as we choose to. I'm gonna go ahead and say, add a commit right here of initial Tailwind install and config. Now, because we're using Tailwind, the way it handles styling is different from the way we did it in our little, using regular CSS in our proof of concept. So it does not really make sense to bring in all these styles right now. But what we can do is make this thing not completely horribly ugly. Do we want to do that right now? Let's get the styling done in a little bit. Let's move over to like the functional stuff, and we can get it looking better in a little bit. Especially once my brain function starts to diminish later in the coding session, we can go in and do some styling because that is fairly low key for me to just come in and style some stuff. All right, so at this point we brought in our HTML, we have CSS configured, we've got a Svelte application, it's actually running in a branch, and we're porting our proof of concept code over. Now, obviously, the way that Svelte handles code is also radically different from our one page, has all the JavaScript approach in our proof of concept here. But some of the different principles we can apply. So one of the first things that if you like scroll in or open up our proof of concept one giant JavaScript file, which giant is relative, 150 lines, you'll notice that the first thing we do is actually add an event listener on the button in order to open the file picker. Now, this is using some of the, this is using the file system API, MDN file system API, the file system web APIs, which you can go read about on MDN. And it's, as I was reading more about it, I realized that, or I tried my little prototype on my iPhone, and I was curious whether those file system APIs are actually supported in Safari. Turns out they are, but they're not supported in a way that's consistent across across browsers. So I would need to write some additional code in this event listener to get the file picker to open up, unless I actually use a library that I came across that would actually solve this for me. So I'm going to go to my thread. By the way, if you haven't seen, I have this like crazy long thread of all the progress that I've made on this app as it is. So if you go to my Twitter, it's like down a few. Oh, cool. We're coming up on our first 5-minute break. When we come back, what we'll do is try to get the file picker running. And I've got a library that I'm going to use to wrap that instead of using my own hand-rolled or just using the JavaScript APIs directly. And as I was mentioning just now, that library abstracts away, here it is, the browser FS access library. It abstracts away some of the differences between these. It provides a legacy fallback is what it's saying. Cool. Okay. I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I'll be back in 5 and we'll start on Pomodoro 2. Appreciate you guys hanging out so far. See you in 5 minutes. Hello and welcome back to Coding with Jess. We have just finished my first Pomodoro break from after Pomodoro number 1, and we're about to adjust this mic so it's not falling down. There we go. Cool. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Start our next timer here and take a look at what we're going to be doing in Pomodoro 2. So we're working on porting our proof of concept of this to-do Kanban thing to Svelte today, and we've ported over the HTML and gotten prepared to do the styling, but currently there's no behavior. So the first bit of behavior that we want to express in this thing is when we click open file here. I really want an open file dialog to come up in the way that it happens right here in my deployed version of this. Open file should bring up this open dialog. Okay, so let's get that working. I was going to use the line of code that we wrote in our proof of concept, this add event listener, and then do the thing of the window.show open file picker. But from what I understand, and this is what we're going to learn together right now, I probably should be using browser FS access to provide sort of legacy fallback in the browser and to make some of the browsers like Safari on the mobile phone actually work, which would be pretty slick. This module allows you to easily use the file system API on its supporting browsers with a transparent fallback to the input type file and a download legacy methods. This library is a ponyfill. I'm not going to go read what a ponyfill is, but it certainly sounds interesting. My daughter would love it. Installation. Okay, we can install this with npm. Let's do that. The module feature detects support for the file system access API and only loads the actually relevant code. Sweet. So we'll do an import at the top, and then if supported, we're using it, else we're using, nice. So we can go ahead and just say, if supported, let's do it. Otherwise, we can, because I think we need the file system access API in order for this to work at all. So it's nice to have that feature detection baked into this library so we can let people know that the application is not going to work for them if they don't have an up-to-date browser. That opens files. Oh, this just straight up triggers it. Interesting. So this file open, I guess, is part of the library. Yeah, right there. Import file open from the library. Okay. Yeah, I think this looks like what we want. We're going to trigger this file open with that button, but in any case, we can go ahead and pull this in. It looks like, yeah, you can specify what MIME type. You can open all files in a directory. This is cool. We might want to use some other functionality later, but at this point, what we want to do is just say open a file. And at some point, we might want to limit the MIME type, although it looks like it already has MIME type built in. So yeah, MIME type text. All right, let's do it. So we'll start off with an npm install here. I believe this is going to be a save dev, not a save, but let me save-dev, right? Isn't that how that works? Or is it capital D? Find out in a second. Let's go to package.json real quick. Oh, come now. Command T, package. Goodness. All right. Where is package.json here? Great. So it's now a dev dependency. There it is, browser FS access. Let's do an npm install. Thing is still running, and then let's walk through the list here. So what we're going to do on the page here. So the way Svelte works is we have this script block up here at the top, script, close. In the top of the script block, we can do an import file open, which we're going to want to trigger. And from at browser FS access, that's correct. And then we'll want to do an on click on this guy. I think it's like this. Something like that. And then we actually can specify like open file picker. And then in here, I've got that ever so slightly wrong. We'll fix that in a second. Open file picker equals that. And I'm taking Copilot's suggestion here. Let's see. So const handle, we do want to file open. That is calling file open, which looks correct. Let's go double check good old Copilot's work here. That looks right. And then const file equals, if I remember this, that looks right too. So then we get a file handle, and we're setting that right there. And then we do a file handle.get file to get the file. Yep, there's the file handle, get the file. Why is this telling me wrong? Oh, okay. So that's not how you get the file using this library. So let's see how that works here. So once we get the file using file open, let's scroll down here. Ah, here we go. Opening files. So wait a second. Confusion. Options are optional. Oh, that's opening files. Yeah, we want to get the contents of that file. And I would have assumed that this returned the file handle. Saving files, file operations. Here we go. File operations and exceptions. For whatever reason, this thinks that this return type here for file open. Okay. First file open. So maybe it's returning an array here. Let's see. Alias file open false returns either first file open options false or an array of first file open options. Okay. So then that's not a file handle. So then what is where's an example of this working? There's a demo. Here we go. Demo code. MJS, module.js. Okay, so here's their example. Let's see, where's their file open? There it's getting called. They get a blob there. Append image. Let's go to that. Yep, go to it. Yes, please do go to it. Append image. There we go. Document create element. Blah 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 blah. Create object URL from the blob. That's weird. I would have expected. All right, well, let's see if they have another usage of file open in here that uses text. File open, file open. No, they're all image. Oh, here we go. File open text. If it starts with image, append. Oh, you just do blob.txt. Okay, apparently it gives you the file, not that. So we will do handle.txt and console log contents. Okay, cool. So we don't, instead of having a file handle, we have the file directly and we can just grab the text for it and we will try printing that out to the screen. So close that. So if we go over to localhost now, oh, we need to trigger the open, right? Which I think I've done correctly. Let's see, open file. Console log, open file, clicked, refresh, open file, that's not working. Command option here. Options.hydrate. Okay, I'm doing something wrong here. So I think it might be the way that I specified the on click. Let me see, Svelte kit, read the docs. Event modifiers, here we are. On click equals, no, I did it right. Woohoo! Handle click. function handle click. Huh. Okay. Let's comment this out for now and comment that out, or take that out. Actually, and then go back, bring that in and delete to space, comment that one out. All right. I think it's possible that we're getting an error. Ah, okay. Next update will trigger a reload. So something is wrong in the way that we have SvelteKit configured. And I'm guessing it's not this import, but let's go see. Nope, it's not the import, but I'm gonna leave it out for now. So basically at this point we have page and layout, import slot. I do see that there's an error here in jsconfig.json. Extends tsconfig.json. Don't actually have a tsconfig.json in here. Oh, okay. It's calling it in the, there it is. SvelteKit tsconfig.json. Interesting. Okay. What's this telling me? It's saying JSON schema for JavaScript project using TypeScript tooling. Cannot read to do Kanban SvelteKit tsconfig.json. You certainly can. It's right there. Also don't know why this would fail when this is basically a vanilla install here. We didn't change anything in that file, I don't believe. Let's go see. Yeah, nothing changed in this file. I've had this problem before, by the way, with SvelteKit when creating a new repo, getting a repo that fails to work, and then creating another one and having a repo that or having a created one that actually works. So what we're gonna do, since I've run down this problem before, is we're gonna just do a quick create of a vanilla SvelteKit project. Kit.svelte.dev. Doggone it. That. We want it to be test SvelteKit. Yes, I know it's release candidate software. Expect bugs and missing features. I have experienced them. So we're doing a skeleton project. Yes, using JavaScript. Yes, using TypeScript. Yes, using Prettier. No, using Playwright. cd into that repo, test SvelteKit, do an npm install. Come on now. Idea, local cache for npm installs. I literally just did this npm install like a few seconds ago. It should have run super fast. All right, anyway, open that up. We've got, is this one running? It is, but we saw it run before, so that's not the problem. Open it in VS Code. Everything appears to be working, including jsconfig.json. Wonder if it was part of the steps that I went through to install Tailwind, basically, is the only thing we did, right? Package.json, let's see. What is new in package.json? Just that browser FS access. Yeah, I mean, geez. I think I guess the only other change we made was adding a layout file. Yeah, I basically followed Tailwind's example instructions exactly. Let's go through Tailwind's example or instructions on this new project and see if that's what breaks it. And we're going to pay attention at each step to the. Did I type run npm run dev here? Yes, and I Control-C already. Okay, cool. So let's go to the Tailwind installation on our new test SvelteKit application and see if we can find the spot at which it broke. npm init. Oh wait, we've already done an npm init. We're already in it. So let me copy these lines here. Copy the svelte config file. Ooh, I bet this is it. This looks fishy to me. What was it before? Const config. There we go. Okay, so you need that type import. The kit piece is the part that feels weird, that it's missing. Feels like I need kit in here. Let me go see, just out of curiosity, Svelte config here. If I add in a kit, does that totally break? It does. Okay. All right, whatever. Let's grab these lines and paste them over that. And then we'll need this line and this line. All right, that appears to be working so far. Let's do an npm. Oh, we will want this content line in the Tailwind config. Let's go add that. Tailwind. Shift V, Command Shift C, Command 2. There we go. Clipboard buffers are a beautiful thing. Okay, and then lastly, we need an app CSS file and the source directory, source app CSS. Add those things in, and in page, instead of creating a layout, I'm just going to create a script here and import app CSS here. And then I'm going to run npm install and npm run dev. And let's see if things work. Localhost 5173. All right, that looks good. And nope, still getting an unrecoverable HMR error. All right, let's look this up. Oh goodness, that's way too big. Okay. Setting browser.hydrate to false renders the client-side router unusable. Oh, I ran into this last time. Okay. Let me see. Which of my projects did I already solve this problem on? I don't think it was Web Native App Template. Which one was it? I got way too many projects. Let's see. So what was the other thing that I was working on? I guess it was the Newsphere explainer that I ran into this on. Hello, Newsphere. Oh, that's right, Newsphere simulator. Great. Okay, let's open that up. Okay, so in layout, Svelte, ended up doing an app CSS here. Pretty sure. What was the file that was giving us problems just now? Wasn't, okay, we got, let me compare these. Let me close Svelte, test SvelteKit, because we've arrived at the same problem. So we know that it is reproducible. It's not something that we did in, so I'm going to come back here, and then I'm going to remove everything in test SvelteKit, so that's gone. Kablooey, goodbye. All right, we're at our to-do Kanban app, and we believe that Newsphere Simulator does not have this problem. Let me verify that it does not have that problem by running that development environment. It does not have that environment. Okay, cool. Man, I really should have written about, okay, this time I I resolve to write down the solution to this problem. I am running 313 Vite, so there's some differences in versions here. But I'm pretty sure I ran into this problem before. So let's look at the two repos side by side and try and figure out what's going on here. One, there is no jsconfig.json on this side on the left over here, which makes me very confused. Let me see, TS. And there's nothing referencing the tsconfig.json. Alas, beta software. So Svelte config, let's like work our way up from the bottom here. Vite config looks like this. All right, the other thing we should do real quick is just go to the bottom of this and see if yep, looks like I'm not the only one. Oy, 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 oy. Throw error if browser hydrate is false and browser router is true. Oy vey. So it looks like 6086 sort of fixes this back in August, but we're here in October and this is not, still having problems. Version packages next. This was merged into 1.00 next 427, so I could downgrade. That is an option. Let me see what package JSON, let me see what we're running here. Svelte kit, we just have it as next. Svelte kit is running as next. Adapter auto we don't need. Similar, don't need it here either. There's Svelte 344, Svelte 344. Okay, yeah, since I haven't locked the version, I'm almost certainly running different versions here, but I'm not sure what they are. I'm trying to remember how to get that information from NPM. What version of package is installed? Surely there's a quick like NPM info or something. Let me try NPM info. That seems like a reasonable thing. Info. NPM installed. NPM help. And that's the usage info for all commands. Link logout npm-ls maybe? Nope. Oh, I'm not even in the right directory. That would help. How about this directory? There we go. npm-ls it is. All right, so we're running SvelteKit 525 here to do Kanban, and in NewSphere simulator, we're running a lot fewer things. Next 488. Why do we have so many things in here? Yeah, what's up with all these extraneous things? I'm gonna rm-rf packages. Sorry, and what is it called? Node modules, sorry. Yes. And we're gonna do a fresh install here. Yeah. All right, now npm-ls. All right, that looks much more reasonable. Let me do that again. npm-ls. Okay, cool. So the kit we're running is 525 here and 488 here. We actually may need to downgrade to that version of Svelte.js kit just because it seems like other people are hitting this problem as well. Yeah, it looks like TypeScript is now being included. And we're also running Svelte 350 on NewSphere Simulator and Svelte 352 here. Oh, JavaScript, why? Okay, so we're done with this Pomodoro. We spent most of our time trying to get SvelteKit up and running and stumbling across bleeding edge software. I suppose this is why I should... okay, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break, come back, and we will continue fighting SvelteKit for the good of all humanity. And yeah, hopefully we'll actually get somewhere with that shortly. Talk to you guys in 5 minutes. All right, hello and welcome back to Coding with Jess. We are about to start Pomodoro number 3 of 4 for today's coding session, working on porting our proof of concept Kanban, which seemed like a great idea at the time and right now is feeling like a very, very bad one. Basically, SvelteKit's giving me a huge pain here with the way it is configured, even with a brand new SvelteKit configured right out of the box. But rather than complain, let's go try and make lemons out of lemonade, and we'll start our next 25-minute timer and get to work on seeing if we can fix this bug, which I should maintain is not my fault. This is SvelteKit being, I guess it is my fault for using not production-ready software. All right, so the problem is something along the lines of the configuration of Vite and Svelte in combination with each other are trying to set up hot module reloads. And so you're just get that auto reload behavior in the browser. And I ran into this on another project and was able to configure my way around it. And so I think my initial instinct on this was just to drop back in versions to lock the version of SvelteKit to a version that appears to be working, which is over here in my other project, Noosphere Simulator. But I'm pretty sure I ran into this on Noosphere Simulator. I really wish I had written it down. This would have been like 4 weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago, of how we got around it. So I'm thinking that instead of I'm thinking that if we go through the trouble of locking the version, we're still going to run into the problem. Oh, so instead of doing that, I'm going to quickly sleuth through the Noosphere Simulator application and see if I can find the configuration. Yeah, and we'll see if that can solve the problem quickly. Otherwise, we will maybe actually just copy the Noosphere Simulator repo over and rip out all the other stuff and then lock the version. All right, so here we go. Starting at the bottom, we got our Vite config. Looks like they are set up very similarly. It's got this type import, which I think has something to do with the fact that TypeScript is being imported in this newer version of SvelteKit, even when you're using a JavaScript project. If we go back up one to Tailwind config, those look remarkably the same as they should, because Tailwind is not the issue here. Svelte config, up one more. Aha! This could be it. Kit adapter. Nope. And yeah, let's try that, shall we? Save that, copy that, and then I think over in package.json I had just removed SvelteKit adapter auto. Let's go ahead and bring SvelteKit adapter auto back. We'll do an npm install over here and npm run dev. Come on. Unexpected token. Uh-oh. Got an extra thingy somewhere. Oh, you know what it might be? No? Script is fine. Svelte config. Ah, there we go. All right, that seems to resolve some of our woes. Let's do an npm run dev here. Open up the browser. Let's see. All right, we find the problem. Woohoo! Okay, so note that it was actually the Tailwind docs that are wrong. So if we come in here, this config right here causes things to break. So let's just make a note that to ourselves here. Oops, not that one. SvelteKit installation docs for Tailwind are incorrect. They instruct you to configure Svelte config.js thusly. Grab this. And the correct configuration is as so. Boop. All right. Go grab the right configuration. I can close the new sphere simulator. Grab that. Boom. Drop that in. Basically what they're saying is add that preprocess block, but over here it sure doesn't look like add. It looks like, yeah. Yeah, dang it. Yeah, there should be like a ... or something. So I'm just gonna make a note here. Woohoo, I'm so glad that we found the problem really quickly. Oops. Consider improving the tailwind, or suggesting an improvement, a clarification, a word to the tailwind CSS docs. Okay. If you see, and let's go pull the error message so I can search it in my own notes. It was this. A new Svelte kit application. And these are JavaScript, JS. All right, great. We have now written about it. So now I can find the problem by searching my own notes again and find the solution. Yeah. I ran into, I guess I should kind of open this up as well. I ran into this by following the Tailwind CSS docs. Specify that specify to configure. All right, let me preview that real quick. Great. Comment. All right, I've now done a good deed on the internet, I think, by saying here's how I got around this, and hopefully that helps someone else. Okay, now back to work. Now that we've gotten SvelteKit appropriately configured, I can close some of this stuff out. I'm still going to want this code because I'm going to come back to it. All right, so we were over here in, do I have any other repos open? No, I don't. Wonderful. Okay, so we were in page.svelte. We had some stuff that we had just imported. I'm going to go uncomment it now. Delete that, uncomment that. All right, now we're back where we started. And I think the app is running. Great, I'm gonna hit Command I, click open file. Woo! Okay, open file clicked. It worked. Okay, so now I should be able to grab todo.md. Where is that file? Let's see, whoops. Click open file and go to documents, code, todo.kanban. Oh, I don't have a todo.md file that I can easily quickly grab. Let's make one. Oops. Bring up the sidebar over here, create a new file. I don't want to create it in that directory. What are you talking about? What you talking about? Not in that directory either. Right up here at the top level. How do I, there we go. New file. todo.md. We'll call it to-do test.md. If I could type, it would be called the right thing. To-do test.md. All right, here we go. To do some project, a to-do, something else to do, another project, Go grab these two and ooh, I'm gonna show up. Cool. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Sounds good. Here we go. Now I've got to-do test in here. Click open. And it read it appropriately. Yes. Great. So we are now reading, opening files and reading them and outputting them to the screen. Wonderful. For right now, we're going to actually create a let file contents equals this. We're going to start out with the same approach that we took with the prototype, where we have like almost all the code in one place. And then we'll start splitting things out into components and utilities and stuff like that, which will be pretty fun. Okay, so we've got the very first bit of our functionality. Things should start moving pretty quickly now because we know how to do a lot of this stuff. We're gonna wanna draw to-dos from this. So in order to draw a set of to-dos, we'll want a function called draw to-dos. Ooh, interesting. So the way to do this in a Svelte-like way would be to, basically iterate over the to-dos in the, okay. All right, we need to get the to-dos first. Let's do that. So get all to-dos is a function that we have here, which we can continue using. All right, let's get our these libraries that we're gonna need. So can close both of those tabs, got that running there. And so in this tab of the terminal, we're gonna do an npm install of unified. Unified, remark, parse, and remark GFM. Oh, GFM. There we go. Get diff package JSON. Cool. All right, we've got all three of those things now. We'll come over here and import them. Import unified from unified, I think. And then import remark parse from remark parse. And finally import GFM from remark GFM. All right, so we've got our three things that we want to get. We're going to do a const get all to-dos. GitHub thinks it knows how to do this. Copilot thinks it knows how to do this. We'll delete that for now. Let's grab this function and okay. What we're gonna want to do, what we do up here is we get the file contents. Okay, we parse the file here. Okay, let's just do all that in the open file picker. So we only need to do that one time? No, we need to do that continually. So we'll need to, yeah, let's do a draw. Draw to-dos is the wrong function. Okay, this is a terrible name, but we're gonna call it fetch to-dos. I'll probably reorganize this code in a minute anyway, but like, let's get it working first. Parse to-dos maybe? Whatever. So we've got our file contents, which is where we start right here. And then we want to clear those HTML. We don't need to do that, but we do want to get the abstract syntax tree of the parsed file. So we'll do that there. And let MD asked do that, and then let's say const to-dos, and this is actually where we'll need to have, whoops, let to-dos equals this, to-dos equals get all to-dos, passing in MD AST. Okay. Need another name here. Let all. How am I? Okay, so I have this kind of weird thing in my code here on the left, and that I'm doing the const to dos here, and then I'm redefining const to dos inside here, and then using that. Kind of horrible, but it works. And so this one, we've got this to-dos out here that we're going to want to add things to. So I'll call this like all to-dos or something like that. All to-dos. I'm not sure why this matters. I'm going to say let to-dos equals that. Why does this give me trouble? What's your quick fix? What? Why is it asking me to type things? I'm so confused. I am not trying to use, this is not a TypeScript block. I guess it's just giving me type hinting using, no, let's see if it still continues to work, which is the important part to me. I don't really want the type hinting, but all right, so if I hit, okay, so what should happen right now? Right now we get the file contents here. As soon as we have the file contents, let's, oh yeah, we want to set up, well, let's just do it one time. Parse to-dos. And then that will call, that will parse the file here. Into the AST, then we'll get back all to-dos. So let's just console log all to-dos at the end of this, right? So that'll see if our recursive all to-dos function is actually working or not. All right, open file, to-do test. Boom, we got four to-do items. It is working. Cool. Okay, so then back over to our proof of concept. I think I have my where's our set interval in here? Oh, that's wrong thing. Where's set interval in here? There we go. So after the event listener, we set it right here. Great. So let's do that. Something's wrong here. Okay, wrong place. Okay. So in the open file picker, we're going to set an interval for parse to-dos, and we're going to want that to happen every 100 seconds so that it's happening pretty often. And parse to-dos, we need to, at the top of parse to-dos, find out if the file has changed. So we have the file's text here. You know what? Maybe we should do it inside here. This is an interesting idea. So we could do we could basically set the conditional here. So we have the file handle right there. The file handle has last modified on it. So we can say if handle dot last modified triple equals file last modified, then return. And then set file last modified to that, and then set the file contents. Oh, I wonder if this, can we actually do that? Oh, it needs to be async, right? Async that. Yes, yes, this is what we shall do. Let file last modified equals 0. Alrighty. So this little port is going well. So now we can, I think I want to do it this way. I wonder if it'll let me. Yeah, great. So when the file picker gets opened, we will grab the contents of the file the first time and then say set interval, then start a set interval. Every 100 milliseconds, we will check to see if the file has changed. If the file has not changed, we boot out of this, this function. If the file has changed, then we update the last modified date. Did I misspell that? Modified? Wow, I did. Let's try that again. Modified. We update the file last modified date, and we then we get the newest file contents. And last thing we need to do is call parse to-dos. We re-parse the file for to-dos. And then we do it again every 100 seconds. Okay, or every 100 milliseconds. Okay, cool. So that should give us the stuff that we want. And again, that's the thing, it's right up here at the top of this. And then we will, when we call parse to-dos, we will parse the markdown file, which is right here and right here on line 27. We will get, yes. So from the markdown, oh, we don't need the file contents value. That's fine. This is like a testing line. We'll do get all to-dos, which is this next line here. And then I'm going to set a console log here to log all to-dos. And now we should actually be tracking changes to the file. So let me go to refresh here. Zoinks. I don't know what that means. What's this module URL thing? When did this come in? Okay, cool. We're in good shape now. So this, if I hit open file, what we should see now is we should see the contents. We should see 4 array items outputted to the console one time. So if I hit open, great. And now if I come over to the to-do file and make a change, we should see the console log hit again with 5 items, a 5th to-do item. Rats. Okay, I was worried about that. So something about how, so this set interval is working. I must need to like reload the file somehow. Let's see. Yeah, I need to do this get file again, but I'm not sure how to do that with the browser FS access. Let's see. Do they have a get file in here? No. 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 They don't. So they do the get file from the handle for you automatically, but I need to recall that. I might not be able to use this library after all. Surely they have low-level access to this handle.get file. Okay. Get file with handle. is what we want. Ah, yeah, aha. Okay, well, let's do that. So where are we? So this is the default export from this, which is file open. Man, doggone it. Well, we've made a lot of progress in this last, yes. We made a lot of progress in the last Pomodoro. Got past the Svelte kit problem that we were having, which turned out to be a documentation problem in Tailwind, or at least misreading the documentation. I don't know how you would read that, but at the beginning, and now we're kind of making some quick progress in bringing over changes. We have replaced the file open functionality in that we used where we were accessing that directly with a library that appears to obfuscate the file handle from us. So we may need to, I guess I could call file up again. I don't know. Take a 5-minute break. We'll be back for our last Pomodoro, right? What time is it? 1:45? Yeah, last Pomodoro, Pomodoro 4. And yeah, we'll see if we can get the file to be continually updated or read from the file system continually, and then we'll move on to the next thing, which is actually outputting those to-dos into the actual, emitting those to-dos into the HTML. All right, take 5. See you guys shortly. Hello and welcome back to Coding with Jess. We are at Pomodoro number 4 of 4. We've got 25 more minutes of work in this coding session. I was just walking outside for a Pomodoro break, and I really wish you could see the epic, like emblematic, quintessential fall day that it is outside. It's like gray and eerily quiet, and there are leaves falling from the trees, and I feel like I'm in like a old Sherlock Holmes episode or something like that. Like the Hound of the Baskervilles is going to come racing out of the forest any minute now. But yeah, it's a really nice day. If you haven't gotten outside today, please do so. Do yourself a favor. Go outside, smell some fresh air. All right, we're back. So at the end of the last Pomodoro, let me go ahead and start this last one. At the end of the last Pomodoro, we were noticing that we do not actually have a file handle. We have the file, and we need to get the handle. It turns out that when you use file open in this library, I looked right after, because I had a feeling I knew where to get this. When you use file open, we're actually getting the file, but you can get the handle as an attribute on the file that you get. So nice. I'm going to come in here and change a couple things to make this clearer. So we're getting the file here. And what we really want is the handle. File is the thing that has the last modified thing. The reason for that is we're going to need to save the handle, which I'm going to do this in a really janky way for now. And then when we do the set interval, we'll refresh the file from the handle, like that. Yes, and we can't assign to file because it is a constant. Inside this block, we'll redefine file, which is fine. Yeah, and we can come reorganize this. Why is it giving me a problem with handle? Yep, again, type hinting stuff. Anyway, this should, this line right here, const file equals await handle get file, should give us a refresh of that file, which will allow us to go through and check if it's modified. So let's go see if our new refresh behavior is working for us. So let me hit refresh on this whole thing. Probably don't need to do that with HMR and Svelte. Probably would have worked fine. Million Grad says, lucky you, we're over here watching from California, always sunny. That reminds me that my uncle used to live in San Francisco, and he spent some time in San Diego as well. And he said one of the reasons he left is because of the lack of seasons. Yeah, in North Carolina, we do have seasons, but some of them are more interesting and extreme than others, and certainly fall is the pinnacle. All right, so we've got 5 to-dos right here. If I come over and go to to-do test, I should now be able to add a 6th to-do. Another to-do on some project. Hit save, and boom! Immediately we get 6 over there. Awesome. So our refresh is working. We've got a continually refreshing file that's getting us a list of all to-dos that are parsed from the Markdown using Unified and all the different like little parsers. So we're in really good shape now to actually start bringing the files into the HTML. So the way that we're going to do that in good old, the way that we're going to do that in Svelte is we're actually going to iterate over the files inside of this UL. So we'll, right here, have a close UL, and then I'm just going to put that there so it doesn't auto-fold for now. And then I believe it looks like that. Or I should say Copilot believes it should look like that. And let's see how we're doing this over here. So we're giving these things a, yep, they are cards. The item content is children value. Children value. Great. That's correct. Oh, this is handy. So if the to-do is not checked, we can put it in this to-do thing. That was actually something I was thinking we're going to have to parse out into two different lists, but we can definitely do that. I bet this is type hinting. Yep, and we're okay with that. We're going to bring that same code down here, or very similar code anyway, to fill in here. I'll try not to save so it doesn't collapse my thing. Take out that don't fold me, that's fine. And this time we want to swap the condition. If to do is checked, then show this thing. Is there anything else that we need to add in here? Draggable true, we'll get to in a second. We'll do the line number in a second as well. The only thing we're doing here in checked is we are adding an additional class here of done. I'm not sure that that actually matters, but I'm going to go ahead and put it there. Okay, actually, I'm going to take it off of that because I'm not using it yet. So now if we go over to our file here and hit open and to do test, we should end up with a bunch of to-dos. Sweet. And you notice that none of them are done yet. So let's go to the to-do test, this guy, and hit X. And it's done. Man, that is so satisfying. Oh my goodness. Okay, enough waxing poetic about that. Let's do a couple of, I at least want them to be on different sides of each other. I'm going to remove these drop zones for now. Get this back to a bare minimum style. Also going to remove this wrapper. Don't need that. The board itself. Do I need that div? Just kind of trimming down the HTML. I had added some of this HTML as sort of a crutch when I was going through to style things up. And now that we have Tailwind, we're going to be able to do styling a little bit more efficiently than my manual CSS that we were doing earlier. Let's see, class equals, so this is Tailwind, so we'll want to do like font X, wait, text XL? Yeah. It's already text large. Let's do bold, I think. Font bold. Or what's black? Oh, that's super bold. Semi-bold. Yeah, there we go. We'll do that, and for each card, or actually, the lists are going to need some styling here. Let's remove these IDs. These IDs were also a crutch from our old styling. Man, this is going to be great. The fact that we now have this working in a Tailwind enabled application means that I'm going to be able to move a lot faster. We're going to be able to make this look a lot better. There's something to be said for those like initial, something to be said for working quickly in a prototype, proof of concept, where you don't have to mess with like a framework. But once you get into a framework that you know well, and you've got the shape of the problem already solved, you can go a lot faster. So I'm pretty excited about that. We've got our to-dos, dones. Let me go ahead and open the file. Does the file contents survive a refresh? Let's see. I don't think it does. So if we make these font medium, no, that's medium weight. I actually want medium size, or small maybe. Oh, it's text medium or text small. That's it. Nope. Okay, so every time we refresh, that's I've got an idea for how to fix that, but there we go. Those look good. Text small. Yeah, we could hold on to this file handle and like put it in put it in IndexedDB, read it from IndexedDB, check permissions on it, and then auto reload it. And so that we end up with, like, even after refreshes, you still have the file there, which I think is going to be a feature we're going to want anyway. I've got some ideas around permanence here that will make things a lot better. But golly day, this looks so much better. Okay, so we have our board. We've got our two lanes here. We're probably going to want to actually a div here. Because we don't need this one. We don't need this. Wait. Delete two there. And yeah, I need another div. Sorry. I got you. There you go. How do we line these up? Okay, so I think I did it in to do Kanban style CSS. So this is going to be grid columns 2 align flex. I think that's right. And then each div will be, how did I do this? Drop down. All right, maybe this will just work. All right, save that. And what do we got? Okay, that's looking pretty good so far. Let's add a, on the body here, index, wait, on the layout. We are actually app HTML here. There's that. For each lane, we're going to need it occurs to me that we can make this better too, but we'll do that in a second. So the lane will do a radius, border radius of 4, background slate 50 maybe. Oh, that's not border radius. Rounded, small, medium. Rounded. Yeah, just rounded. That's what I want. There we go. And then get some margin. Padding, say 2. There we go. Padding 1. Margin right 2. Right, bring that down here for that. Nice. Those are starting to look good. And then we'll do padding. We'll do X padding, which is up, no, Y padding. And X padding, we'll make it more, like 3 or 2. There we go. All right. Gives a little bit more vertical or horizontal padding. All right, now we are let's go ahead and bring in our to-dos. Cool. And I'm trying to remember, what does a Trello board look like? Actually, let's just go to our Kanban. This one looks pretty decent. Open. Goodness. All right, to test. There we go. Ah, yes. We make them white and give them a little rounding and a little bottom drop shadow. Okay, so we'll do BG white, radius or rounded, and a little drop shadow, small, and some bottom margin. They're going to need the same kind of padding the other one has. PY1, PX2, bottom, margin, bottom. Let's say 2. Let's see how that looks. All right, we'll talk about winging it. Let's see how they fly in there. It's pretty good. We need a little bit darker color in here. Let me go copy those styles down below. Cool, open the file again. Hey, not too bad. All right. Yeah, gonna want to add a padding around the whole thing, and there's a couple of other, we're gonna like style up the button and that kind of thing, but looking good, looking good. So how much time do we have left? 8 minutes. Okay, so wow, we haven't committed in a while. Let's do that. Git add dot load to-dos from file and refresh. Okay, got that working. Now what I want to look at real quick before we run out of time is the, oh, did I not link to it in here? I bet I didn't. Okay, let's go GitHub, Svelte, drop down. No, not drop down, drag and drop. There it is. All right, I want to try and get this running very quickly. I was making sure that, remember when I was talking at the very beginning of this session, I was saying that I want a framework because I want the drag and drop to be handled by a library as opposed to me having to code up all the edge cases. It turns out Svelte, sorry, the drag and drop is a pretty painful thing to code all of the end user experience stuff around. And so I found a library that does that. I just installed it, Svelte D&D action. So let's see if we can actually get this working. We're going to do use D&D zone. All right, I haven't read anything about how to use this thing. I only read some of the, well, I've read very little. And the import flip from Svelte animate. Flip duration, Svelte D&D action. Yeah, I don't really know how this thing works, so let's see, let's play with it, see if we can get it working. Let's see. We need to bring in D&D zone to begin with. Let me make this smaller. I can make this right bar disappear. Shouldn't it just disappear when I get small enough? There we go. I still wish I could make it disappear. There we go. Okay, so D&D zone is our thing that we're going to be using. That's what's going to allow us to define our drop zones, where once you've dragged one of these items, where you can actually drop it to. Looks like we're going to need to reformat our to-do items this way, or I think. That seems weird to me. Let's see how that's done in their example here. So each of my items as item.div. Div, this is now a draggable div that can be inserted. On consider, on finalize. Interesting. Okay. So there's a function that allows you to, when someone is considering dropping something on it, so they're like hovering over it, you can call that function. And looks like what you're doing there is inserting the item. I'm not sure. Okay, we'll see what this does in just a second here. So inside of our div, we're going to have a use D&D zone, and you can feed in both the items, and then it looks like a duration for the animation. So as well as how you want to animate it. So animate with a flip, which is part of the Svelte core animation libraries. So we'll be able to customize the heck out of that. But the items piece is the piece that we're going to need to look at. Each object in that array has to have an ID property, which is a key name that can be overridden globally. With a unique value within all D&D names of the same type. Okay, so we're going to want to use, for our ID, you'll remember if you have been following along with my thread on this thing, I realized that for IDs, I can use line numbers within the file, because every to-do item is by definition on a separate line. So we're going to want to go ahead and pull that in now. That comes from our Markdown AST here. So it'll be in the get all to-dos function. We'll want to get it there, but I have that code already over here, so let's not rewrite it. Go to to-do Kanban, grab script.js. 3.5 minutes left. This is going to be tricky to get this done. Oh, we're in the wrong place. Yeah, no, main is right. Ucode. Script.js. Okay, line number is here. So for each item that we get back, we can get it that way. So as we're going through here, seems like we're going to need to make an array of to-do items with ID and text. And that ID text pairing needs to look like this. IDs and names? Are those the actual text that's in them? I guess. All right, so then to do array, let to do array. Oh wait, we'll probably want to do it like this. Let to do array equals all to dos dot map. And the ID is actually going to be to do dot data set. No. That was the other, that's what I was assigning it to. Position start dot line. And the other thing, this needs to be name. So that's going to return a whole bunch of these guys. IDs and names. Looks good to me. It's actually to do children. Yep. I'm going to need to do a better job of parsing this into a data structure that actually makes sense instead of passing around the entire MDAST, but and MDAST like rendered items. But this is good enough for now. Then in parse to-dos, we're going to want to, looks like that's actually in the use D&D zone here. Okay. Got the to-do items when we do the parse. So then, okay. So then I need a drop zone around each one of these. So the lane is the thing, it's going to be the drop zone. I guess I can create a separate section for right now just to see it work. Use D&D zone equals quote, and this will be to-do items, and we'll say 100 milliseconds is the thing. I'm not sure why this is quoted in double thing. All right, let me give myself 5 more minutes to see if I can get this working because I'm curious here. 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. We'll do this. All right, I think that should be like this. That's normally the way these things are specified. I wonder if this is like older documentation from a previous Svelte kit version. Ooh, I like the console log there. And let's do the same thing on what was the other thing? On finalize. All right, got those. You know, maybe there is something to this. I'm just going to do that. And we'll roll with it. That is the way it's specified here. So let's see if it actually works with the as documented. Yeah, that's not going to parse. Ain't going to parse. I know betters. Oh, shouldn't have those things wrapped around it. Should just be like this. I'm not sure why it's complaining about 100. Use D&D zone. Surely the milliseconds is optional. Required, no. Good. Okay. So we're just going to do that. And it's complaining because, oh, it has to be an options thing. To do items. Oh, like that. To do items. There we go. Okay. Now we're looking good. These are type hints again. Okay. That took some figuring, but that's looking good. We need an end section here. What? Why is it not? Do I have it in the wrong spot? No. Looks like I might have deleted something in my haste here. Whoa, I think something just got pasted in here. Each to-do item as to-do. I've noticed that sometimes I get weird stuff from Copilot and other things where they just get really aggressive with the autocomplete and complete something down below, which I never intended to be in here. Okay, so there's our section. For some reason, I think things, there is the end section. Okay. Now things are properly formatting, and let's see what this thing looks like. So did we import D&D zone? Yeah, we did. And I realize I've been kind of futzing with this. So if I do a to-do test now and bring things in, well, interesting. I can mouse over things, but I can't drag them. each items as item underscore ID. What does that even, items, item.id. What? So what I'm calling the item function? What? Each items as item. And then passing in item ID. Let's go look at the Svelte docs. How does each work? Okay. I think it's reasonable to assume that we won't actually figure out how to get D&D action working right now, since I'm like trying to get the library implemented in 10 minutes or less, and I've never seen a library before. So I'm going to we're going to pause this here, and I probably will continue working on this in a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and call it here for the work session. We're continuing to work on this Kanban to-do thing, which I showed off a demo of at the very beginning of this live stream. If you go there, you can see the proof of concept where you can like drag to-dos around on a Kanban board, and they automatically update a file on your actual file system using the browser's file system API. Pretty cool. It's really useful for me in the way that I use my to-dos, because I keep mine embedded in a single file, Markdown file that I'm updating and editing all day, but I don't have those nice Kanban style visualizations that all the cool kids love these days. Anyway, so helpful tool for me. I got the proof of concept working over the last week, and I want to port it over to Svelte to be able to harden it a little bit and extend some of the functionality in a more reusable way. So that's what we're doing today. Made a lot of progress. Had one Pomodoro of fighting Svelte and fighting some bad docs there, but for the most part made a lot of progress, and we're close to feature parity in Svelte with our proof of concept in just about 2 hours of work. So I'd say not bad. Maybe another hour and I should be able to get back to feature parity and redeploy this thing. We'll be able to more easily extend it then. So thanks for hanging out on Coding with Jess. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Maybe working on the same thing, maybe working on something totally different. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you later.